Hi everyone, it's Bernard here at moviegamenostalgia.com. It's my regular look at a board game. Obviously, we're going back to 1989 today. This firm was established in the late 1880s, so they're one of the most well-known firms. They're very well known for jigsaws and very simple games, which is what this is, a very simple game. But you know me, I'll take a simple game and make it for grown-ups as well. You know, I like to have a bit of fun. Why not have your mates around and play these simple games, but have a bit of fun with them as well? So we're talking a Ravensburger game, obviously a German company, established, as I said, 130 years ago. Unbelievable, really, wasn't it? And as you know, if you go in your local shops for jigsaws, Ravensburger's always popping up. Well, they have some nice simple games as well, not overly complicated. I mean, this one obviously is aimed at, well, look at it, it's aimed at perhaps young girls, isn't it, if you can say that? But obviously it has an appeal. I mean, show jumping, obviously, is, you know, there's a guy at the back there, so we've got a man, and obviously it's a big thing, and obviously it's aimed at, and it looks like a show jumping thing, but the word derby obviously inspires me to look, is it a horse racing game? And actually, there's the simple rules. I mean, there's not hardly any. There's only two pages of rules because all the rest are in other languages. So it's a very simplified, simple game. And it does play like a horse racing game as opposed to a show jumping game. So obviously, if you look on various sites, people might play with the rules, but obviously I'd play with this to make it a show jumping game and a horse racing game, so it appeals to everybody. And as a horse racing game, etc., it appeals to people like me who like a bit of fun, like a bit of horse racing. You know, I used to do little things for the kids when we were very young. We had horse racing nights, and we actually we'd put fake bets on, and I even got to the stage when he got a bit older, I put a few pennies on them as well in real life. You know, you could do this. So I do like my horse racing, and obviously this does take me back, this sort of game. So it is simple, as I said, and I'll just have a quick, just show you the thing anyway. It's all set out here for you to look at. Very simple board, as you can see, with the poles there all set, and they actually say to start at the pole. The poles have got 4 sections, obviously 1, 2, 3, and 4. And actually, you can set at stages in the game. You can set the poles at different heights as well, so they do alter, obviously. So it's not always necessary to have them lower. The lower they are, the easier they are to jump, because it's a dice. It's a roll and play game, so it's quite simple. You got your 4 players. You can have more than 4 players, which I'll tell you about in a minute. So these are quite sturdy. These aren't too bad. They're a bit fiddly, but they're all. I mean, there's plenty of room on these poles, so that actually they fit on quite nicely. And the whole idea is to start there, work all your way around, follow the arrows all the way around, right across there. So it's a little bit like a cross country on horse racing as well, all around, and cross country in real life, all around, round there, and you finish there. And obviously the first one to finish wins, basically. That's all it is. And hey, you know, you could get some money out of another game and have prize money, couldn't you, and things like this. So I mean, there's another alternative here. It's not just enough to win, you know, and then you can play again and try and win. The thing is, once you've got 4 players, they do all start off here at the start flag. It can get a bit messy. You can go on the same squares. There's no rule against that, so you can all go on the same squares. But obviously, as you're throwing your dice, so say blue was going, I'll just play as blue, and then blue gets a 2. Obviously, you move your two spaces on there, so you move to there, which is your 2 space, and you're ready to jump. I mean, if your next jump, you're obviously to clear it, because the bar's set at 3, isn't it? The pole's set at 3, so you will actually need a score of 4 to clear it. So if you only get 1, 2, or 3 on your next throw, so I've got 4, so that's 3, obviously, to clear the bar, because it's set at number 3, plus 1, so there's your 4. So you cleared it quite comfortably. Now, what actually happens if you're the first to clear that pole, according to the basic rules, you then look what's opposite number 4 is 3. So obviously the bar stays on number 3. But if you'd actually thrown a 6, you'd look at what's opposite to 6 is a 1. You'd actually move the bar down to number 1. So obviously anyone following you's got an easier chance, obviously. So it doesn't always work out like that. As you can see, sometimes the bar's higher, sometimes it's lowered. So what you do when you jump affects the other players. If you get to a fence and you don't get over it, you simply just don't get over it. You don't knock it off or anything like that in the basic game we're talking about. So if you get to this space here and you only throw a 3, that's 1, and you've only got 2, but you've got to clear a bar at 3, so it's not enough. So you'd have to wait there for your next go, and then you need to throw a 4 or more to get over that, etc. Now the only other thing on the dice is no number 5. There's only a horseshoe, and what the horseshoe allows you to do, if you throw the horseshoe, and it comes out as the horseshoe, wherever you are on the course, so say you were there, it actually allows you to clear that, go to the next spot after a jump. And what it then allows you to do is you can choose to move any of the poles on any of the jumps to a certain height. You can actually do what you want. So if there was a guy in front of you there, for instance, if he was in front of you, you could go and put that on the highest bar. So he's obviously going to have to get a higher score to get over it. So, you can stop other players and play around with other players. So you get the horseshoe, and obviously the horseshoe, opposite horseshoe, is 2. So once you'd cleared that, then it gets set back to 2. So basically that's the game. As you say, you can get quite busy. More than one of you can go on the same square. But imagine if you're all stuck on the same square, it does get a bit choppy there. Certainly at the start when you're starting off, obviously when you first start off. But so it's a bit niddly. They could have been a little bit wider with the spaces. So as I said, at the end of the day, the first one to do the circuit. Actually, so again, tweaking of it, you can put, if you throw a 6, perhaps you get another go. You can do different dice. Perhaps have 2 dice, play it with 2 dice as opposed to 1. I mean, all the same things happen. So I mean, if you've sort of got a 12 on your first throw, you go 1, 2. That's at number 3, isn't it? Really. Start again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So you'd actually clear 2 fences. And obviously then, unfortunately, you'd have to move both those fences down to 1, because obviously 1's the other side of 6. So you can play with 2 dice. You can play with, if you've got games where you've got 8-sided dice or things like that, you can play with 8-sided dice. You don't have to sell, 1 to 6. Obviously, so you can fiddle it like that. But obviously, to me, that's a horse racing game. That's 4 of you competing against each other, or 2, 3, or 4 players. Obviously, how many? Or you can have 5 or 6 players. I mean, there's nothing wrong with getting some pawns and having even more players. But also, why not do various options? Why not, when you get to the fence, just play it individually? Just play it as individual. So one guy literally has to clear the course. And what they do, if you get to a fence and you don't clear it, you knock it off. So you get 4 faults. So you would leave that off there like that. Then you go on to the next one, you might clear that, and then so you play the game literally just one person, and someone can make a note of how many goals they've got. So if they don't do it in a certain time of goal, you get faults, time faults, things like that. So you can actually play a basic show jumping game, and each player, obviously all the players are watching, but each player takes turns, and obviously however many poles he knocks off at the end. So if this guy gets through all these and gets to the end and past the winning poles, he's knocked 3 poles off. He's obviously got 12 faults. And then the next person will go and see how many he can do without knocking the poles off. So it's a great game for that as well. And if you don't do it, obviously you won't know how many goals it takes to get around. I mean, this is where perhaps play with 2 dice if you're doing that, because it'll be far quicker and people aren't waiting too long. But again, get awarded money or prizes for whoever gets the least faults. I mean, obviously whoever goes second or third, if you've got a few players, if they obviously knock 4 or 5 fences down, they're not. But again, if you're awarding money for there's 5 of you and you get £1,000 for the winner, 500 for second, 300 for third. So there's ways of fiddling about with it. And for the guys, if you're having a few drinks with your mates, I mean, it's just a bit of fun, knocking the fences off, getting the faults, or just having it as the basic race. And again, if you think of the show jumping thing, you can think of equestrian, can't you? You could have 4 of you playing, but the first player gets 3 throws of the dice and see how far they can get. Then they all go afterwards. So that first player is always, so players can catch up with him and take over. You're always 3 moves ahead. So you can fiddle around with the rules. And I think this is a good game. I think this isn't just for kids. I think any adults can enjoy this as well with the kids. And kids can be left on their own to play it as well. This is the thing. Younger kids can love it. It's 6+ on the box. I think kids from 4 years upwards would probably play this, certainly with an adult. And then they get to know how to play it themselves, especially jumping a fence and finding out what the other opposite number is and putting the bar up to it. Obviously, if you got 1, you're not going to jump a fence or whatever happens. So you'll never get 6. So it never goes up. That's why it only goes up to 4. You're never going to get higher than 6. But I think that's a great game. I think that's you can have fun with that and do different things with it. And it's certainly not restricted to just 4 players. You can play around with it. I mean, I've had good fun just looking at this. I'd play with my lot any time, and it's simple enough for young children, and you can have a bit of fun for older, for adults as well. Why not? Hey, every time you knock a fence down, you have to have a drink, of whatever your tipple is, so you can turn it into a drinking game. Obviously on Board Game Geek, it's not getting 5 out of 10 rating, but I mean, I look at some of the review. Oh, this is for kids, and it's no fun. I mean, well, it is a kids' game, but hey, use this, use your old mouse, adapt it a little bit, play around with it. I think is a great. You can pick it up between about £13-14 and £25 on the various websites. Obviously, if you're lucky enough to get one from a charity shop, great. It's on my site, moviegamenostalgia.com. I've only recently acquired this, so it's not something I know whether people are buying it, but it's out there to buy on all the big websites. As I say, if you're lucky, you'll come across it in a charity shop. Make sure you get all the bits. So it's nice to have all the fences and all the poles, which is great, and they're quite solid. So they slot in and they do sit quite solidly, so that's good. So be careful if you're buying online that you're getting a complete set as well, because it is a shame if you've not got all the fences, etc., and all the poles, obviously. And for the horses, you can buy spare horses and play more than 4 of you. Anyway, that's that. That's Derby Days from Ravensburger, which is a simple kids game, but can be turned into a fun adult game. And you've got 4 or 5 different ways of playing it. It's not just a basic race game. You can do it as a show jumping, equestrian, horse race. Steep like the Grand National. There's a lot of horse race games out there. But hey, this is fun. Add money to it. Change the dice. Have more dice. Have different size dice. Do various things. The horseshoe option's nice, but if you've got a bigger dice, just say, well, number 5 is the horseshoe. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. That's a good option where the horseshoe, you're allowed to jump past the next fence and you can set the bar for anybody else. So you're stopping somebody. So there's a little bit of stopping other people. So there's a bit of strategy to it, even though it's obviously a lot of luck. No, I think that game's great. I hope you agree with me on that one. Anyway, if you enjoyed this little review of Derby Days, please push the old subscribe button for future reviews of board games, and you can see now how I do things. I do modern games as well, but I even tweak the older games. There's an interesting game I played with the kids many months ago, actually, that failed miserably. It was a bit monotonous, but I may have a tweak of that before the next one and do that next time, where I think I can make the game a little bit better and a bit more enjoyable, because it didn't rate very highly either on Board Game Geek. So if I get a chance, I might have a look at that. Obviously, Christmas is coming. There's a lot on at the moment, so I'll have a look anyway, see if I get the time to do that. But I'll be back next week with something anyway, whatever happens. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. Push the subscribe button, please push the bell notification, so when you know these board game reviews are coming out, and if you're into your movies and your football, please look on Bernard Deneen YouTube for my different vlogs. I've got well over 100 now done, so please go on there and check those out and see what takes your fancy. There's plenty to go at. I'm on Twitter at nostalgia_movie. And obviously, I've got my own little website, moviegamenostalgia.com, for DVDs, posters, and of course, board games. And at Christmas, it's nice to buy brand new ones. I do a lot of new ones, obviously, but it's nice to buy some of these old ones that are in good condition. And the kids love them. I mean, the kids, and the kids aren't going to see these in the shops. These aren't available. These games, these older games, but there's some crackers out there that they'll really enjoy playing. Anyway, thanks for watching. Whatever you're doing with the rest of your day, have a good one. Take care of yourself. Take care of your friends, and more importantly, take care of your family. And I'll see you all again very soon. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.